Hi, this is Jonesie with Jetters Northwest, and we're on the floor here at the huge wet trade show in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I did a talk yesterday about defeating your jetter's enemies, and one of the enemies that people don't recognize a lot is a clogged line strainer or a clogged water strainer on the inlet to the pump. So what does the strainer do? Well, number one, anything that gets in your water tank, or if you don't have a water tank, you simply have a garden hose feeding, its job is to strain out anything that should not go through the high pressure water pump or should not or could not get out of your nozzle's little orifices. So this thing needs to be serviced, and it's really, to me, a daily service item. Now, if I could get the jetting world to service it once a week, you guys would all have fewer problems out there as far as maintenance goes on your pumps. But let me show you how absolutely easy it is to service your strainer, and maybe I can convince you all to do it daily. So a typical line strainer on a hydrojetter, especially a high power water jetter like this is our Eagle 200 3012, they generally come off by hand. Now some of them you do have to use a wrench or a channel lock, but most of them they just come off by hand. And here I am. This was typically where my machine had some water in it. This would be full of water. And they just seal on an O-ring, or some of them that you might have one that has a clear bowl. It seals with the gasket, okay? And so it's absolutely easy to just pull this screen out. You need to wash it really well. Sometimes if you stored your jetter for a while, I had a customer with this problem a couple of times, where it gets caked with organic growth. So even if you have a strainer that has a clear bowl, you can see right in there and see the screen, it does not mean that that screen is clean. You need to take it apart and double check that. Sometimes you have to grab a toothbrush, give it a scrub out, and once you've done that, typically you're just dumping everything out and you can put it right back together. But if you need to scrub it out, make sure you get everything clean. You don't want any bits of crud in here at all, especially if it had like a pine needle or something coming over the edge of the gasket. It's not going to seal up in here when you put it back on. So very important also to put your strainer in squarely so it's not off to the side when you tighten it back on. You don't want to pinch and fold your strainer over. It's one reason we like this brand of strainer, Banjo. It has this nice frame around it. It's real easy to just put in there and it's not going to get the wrong direction. So again, you want to make sure your gasket's real clean and that the surface you're going to put it back into is real clean. Take the time to thread it in nicely so you don't cross thread, and just give it a nice snug. Some of your jetters will maybe need to prime a little bit, so you can, like our jetters generally just self-prime this thing. When we talk about priming, that's getting water to the pump. Some of you need to prime. You might need to get a little water in there and let the water kind of fill up and bleed out a little bit and then close it up, okay? But this is very important. If this is clogged, what can happen is obviously we're not going to get water to our pump, and water's our tool. Our pump needs to just drink in water to then pump it toward the nozzle and build pressure, right? But we often see that this gets clogged up. Jason from Hydromax Jetter, our dealer service center in Dallas, Texas area, told me about a time when he took one of these apart and it was completely caked full with leaves. So it did its job, but unfortunately for the customer, he didn't do his job to maintain it, and he cavitated his pump, which caused some damage and some expensive repair. So it's easy to clean your strainer. Just really encourage you to take the time to do it and just do it nice, clean, and right. And it'll save your pump a lot of headaches and save you headaches so you can get out there and get jetting. Thanks so much for watching. This is Steve at Jetters Northwest. Have a great day.